Hey everybody, and welcome to week 4 of the Midlife Woman's Author Series, where I've been interviewing authors of newly released books focusing on the health and well-being of women in midlife and beyond. And I'm pretty sure you're sick of me doing this now, but I'm going to reintroduce myself because there's always new people that come on. I'm Amanda Thebe. I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist, been doing this for 30 years. And I'm also the author of Menopocalypse, How I Learned to Thrive During Menopause and How You Can Too. And my aim for these type of webinars and my Instagram and all my social media stuff is just really to help raise awareness and promote knowledge about menopause and give you the tools to successfully support your health choices. And this week, an icon of the 90s Brit Pop scene, Meg Mathews, joins us. I'm super excited she's here. I'll just give you a little bit of an intro to her and then we'll get stuck in. Meg is a former music industry PR, event planner and designer turned entrepreneur and huge advocate for menopause. She founded MegsMenopause in 2018 as a platform dedicated to breaking the stigma around menopause and supporting and informing women. Meg holds, prior to pandemic, she was holding menopause roadshows and community talks, really great. High profile talks as well, and is always on the telly talking about menopause, so it's great. She launched a range of affordable, intimate products, I think that are in most of the supermarkets and chains now, like Boots. And she also has a multilingual app called MegsMenopause. It's just a support app. It's great. And then the last thing I was going to say is Meg has a daughter, Anaïs, and happy birthday, because isn't it her birthday today?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday. Coming of age birthday though, right?
21, yeah. But we were in pandemic, so we couldn't do anything. I mean, I feel really sorry for these kids. It could just be, it was just like a breakfast, and you can't, only the people that are in your bubble, because as you know, London is rife and it's 1 in 20 or 1 in 11 people have COVID. And after me and you having that conversation back in the summer, and how I watch you get your health back and your lungs back and your swimming and your training, it was that's made me be really, because if I hadn't watched you, I don't think I would have been that careful.
Yeah.
But because seeing someone who was as fit and as healthy as you go from being able to work out and be a really strong woman to be able to do 2 laps and showing yourself walking up the road and back, because it had affected, it wasn't just like a cold, it was affecting parts of your body that were very fit, and so it did frighten me, and you did make me feel that I am definitely obeying by the rules.
And the thing is, somebody like you, Meg, as well, you've got I feel like a little bit of an obligation as well, because so many people look at you for advice and wisdom and stuff, and I think it really matters, the example that we set people, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so Anaïs's birthday went by quietly then, hey?
Very quietly, yes. Very quietly. We just did a breakfast and that was it, yes.
Well, you can make up for it. I was going to say, my 50th went by and it was really quiet, and I'm like, I'll just have a 51st, a big party.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about me.
No.
We're here to talk about you and your book, and it's just come out in the US. And now, Meg, can you show me both versions, because it looks slightly different in the UK.
So the UK one was like this, and it was supposedly this is me.
And it's interesting because it says taking on the menopause, and in the US it's cruising through menopause.
Yeah, taking on the menopause. Then they decided they liked to go for more of a Sex in the City vibe. That's what they described it.
So they went
to this one, the cruising, and they felt that was. Now I love the English one better. I am going to say, just because pink is my favorite color, and as you can see, throughout. It's just all pink inside, and
it's definitely synonymous with you for sure.
Yeah, and because I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD, I needed things of blocks and pinks because I find things hard. I need things broken up. Else, pages, if they're not broken up like this is just for me, I find difficult to read, and I have done all my life.
So let's talk about that then, because, you know, one of the things that a lot of women through menopause struggle with is just the absorption of information. I did too, and I don't struggle with any learning disabilities that you had anyway, but then we have all of these cognitive issues that happen where words are just hard to remember, information is just hard to absorb. And so I actually really like the way the book was laid out, because it's in these really small manageable chunks. Like you can just go, what did you say about exercise? I mean, that's obviously the first place I go, and you've got this really small section that just goes, oh, this is what she's saying, and this is what worked for her, and this is what the experts that she's associated with say as well. So I do really like the ease of it, because when I was writing my book, I just was getting so sick of reading a book and going, I can't remember what was said there. There's just too much difficult information. Can we simplify it somewhat?
Yeah, no, I think you're right, because we know that this estradiol, which is 90% of the estrogen that we need for our brain, it's so weird when someone said, when's Anaïs's birthday? And it's 2 seconds is a long time to actually have to remember your daughter's birthday. You're like 27th, and it's like, oh my god, where that. And then that sort of makes you think, oh God, why did it take me so long? So for me, I just wanted a thing that was easy. And that's when I was putting the book together, I just said, look, I when I first came into this 7 years ago in 2017, so I'll be 55 in March. So I was about 48. I was like, the websites I was going to was the British Menopause Society. They were the Menopause Matters. And I did find it was just too much writing. It was very like a doctor would
just tell me what I need to know. That's what I always want to do. Just tell me what I need to know. Yes.
So on my website, I was just like, to Dr. Ornella, who's my doctor, I just said, I don't want anything longer than 5 minutes. I want them to be able to go on and read it for 5 minutes. And then if they are really interested in that, then they will Google more. But let's give them as much information, but not be over like 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes at the most.
Yeah, I agree. And that's almost like the book as well. Like, it's just like, let's just get to the point. Let's just cut through the fluff. So can we pull back and go to how this all started from you? So you go from having this lifestyle that none of us could ever imagine, like this pops lifestyle, this Brit Pop, and then now you're just literally the menopause maven of the UK. So come on, Meg, how did this happen?
So I was basically married to a well-known rock star, and he was in a famous rock band, and I did live a very colourful 80s and 90s, and very colourful. I was in the rave scene, and I was in the Brit Pop scene. So, my lifestyle was not the healthiest, and it was very sex, drugs, rock and roll. And I was in my early 20s, and I was having the time of my life. So what happened was, when this started to happen to me, and all of a sudden this anxiety was on me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm Meg, the anxiety.
Was that your first symptom, anxiety, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
The anxiety was like the biggest one for me. I was like, God, the anxiety and the overwhelming of life. Like I would get a letter, and I'd just be like, it would be a bill. I'd open it, and then I would just go, oh, I'm homeless. And I don't know where this was coming from. It was just, everything was overwhelmed. So what I did was, I would get up in the morning and I would get breakfast ready, and And I said to my daughter, oh yeah, and I put my gym gear on every day, and they all thought, oh yeah, she's going to go and work out with their trainer. I said, you can get an Uber. And then they're like, oh my God, I can get an Uber to school. Oh, great, I'm 15. This is amazing. Oh, and I was going, yeah. I just thought, I can't face any of those mums at the school gates if they're going to talk to me. Can't face anyone. My partner would go to work, and then I would just climb back into bed. And I'm, a very privileged person, and I have a lot of gratitude for that. And I know that there's not a lot of women that would be able to do what I did. And that's what made me want to actually to do something and help other women, because I was able to do that.
But did you recognize that was something to do with menopause, or did you just think you were going crazy? Like,
I thought, yeah. So I thought I was just going a bit mad. So then I would set the alarm at 4. I would come back downstairs. I'd light candles. And then what I would say to everyone was like, oh, you know what? Really don't feel like cooking tonight. Do you want a takeaway? And of course, that's a special treat. So none of them were going to say no. They would be like, yeah, can we have pizza? I'd just go, yeah, order a pizza. And then I'd make out, I said, I'm going to go and watch this series. You don't want to watch Elizabeth VIII or whatever. I'm just going to go up and do that. And then Anaïs and my partner, he would be watching the football. She would be FaceTiming. So it, no one even really saw me. It was just like, and I managed to wangle it very well. Then I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I went to an AA meeting, and I was coming out the AA meeting, and I shared and just said, what was the use? Why be sober for all these years if this is what at nearly 50, I'm being dealt this. I don't sleep. I can't remember anything. I don't laugh anymore. I don't have joy in my heart. I find it hard to work out. I don't enjoy sex. I have no libido. I open my wardrobe. I can't even be bothered. I just close it and put workout gear on. I don't even look at clothes. People say, invite me out. I'm too tired. I'm thinking, I can't sit and be at a dinner party with 20 people. Oh. So as I walked out, this lady tapped me on the shoulder and she said, look, I think you're going through the menopause. And I looked round at her and I was like, oh, you cheeky cow. I thought, I don't look like the bloody Golden Girls, if you don't mind. Because in my head, the Golden Girls, they were women. My granny was with a little stick and her blue rings, and she was very frail. That's who was supposed to have the menopause, not a 48-year-old, really sort of what I want to say very fit, not like you, but
you were healthy and it didn't make
healthy,
sense, right?
yeah. I wasn't like an Olympic athlete, but I would weight bearing exercises. Yeah. I would do a spinning class. I would do different classes and go to the gym.
And I know you take care of your overall health, your stress management and your nutrition. And
yeah.
There's people in the messages I'm saying, do any of you feel or recognize this? And it's going crazy. Yes. They're all, it's just, we all have this like shared experience. And yeah, it took somebody coming out of a random meeting that had nothing to do with menopause to sort of like plant the seed. And although it probably pissed you off, because it did when I first heard it, it was like, well, maybe it is.
Well, so right? She gave me a number and I got in the Uber and the penny dropped and I thought, when you get that sign. So I called her. She was from Brazil. She set me up in everything. She sent me a photo of the estrogen, the estrogen progesterone, the tester gel. She said, you're going to go to the Chelsea and Westminster clinic. And I'm like, you're not even from Brazil. I mean, you're not even from England. How do you know this? She said, because I thought that I basically was on. She said, are you on antidepressants? I forgot to put that in. I said, yeah, I've been on antidepressants for 2 years. They put me on antidepressants. Mm-hmm. She said, this is what they did for me. They just antidepressants after antidepressants after antidepressants. And I was so sick of trying antidepressants out. And after 4 days of me taking this estradiol gel, my night sweats stopped.
And
I was just like, and I was just like, oh my God, because those night sweats were the ones where I used to wake up And then I'd try and get over to my partner's side of the bed, and then he would just be like pushing me back over, and he's like, you're wet and you're cold. And I'm like, but I just want to cuddle. And he would just be like, just stay over there. And then in the end, I'd just be like, well, I'm just going to sleep in the spare room. Then you might as well not even sleep in the same bed. You know, it just comes, and the whole of your relationship, you know, then I just wanted just to stroke him, and I just want to be intimate. And that just meant, the red flag's here, and he just want to turn around and, you know, go all out. And I just go, no. And then he would go, I'm now going in the spare room. So, you know, I was just like, you know, I don't want to I just want you to hold me and, you know, and be intimate. I just want to have that. I don't want to have full-blown sex.
It's really challenging, though. It's really challenging when in a partnership, either with a man or a woman, when you're going through menopause and you haven't got a clue what's going on, and your emotions are all over the place. Symptoms are driving different sort of desires and needs, whether you're pulling back or even more horny than ever. And then your partner's supposed to have a clue what's going on. It's very confusing for them.
It is.
Which is one of the reasons why I think like these really candid, open conversations matter, because if we can normalize having these type of topics. I talk to my husband like this all the time now, and it really has helped our relationship, because otherwise, like, I could see it going down the same route as yours. Like, he was like, what am I doing wrong?
We did split up because before I got, you know, so this was, we split up in 2018 when I just decided to start this. So had my 50th birthday, and then about 4 or 5 months after, I was still sort of understanding myself and not, you know, still learning so much. Every day I would learn something new. And also it is, I have to say, and I do apologize to him, because all I did was talk about the menopause for about 4 years. And every time I met someone, they still want to talk about the menopause. So, you know, the rolling of the eyes, I do understand. And I get a cheeky wink across the room from other women. But most of the time, women come straight over now. And I'm pleased they do. And, you know, but I could see, you know, it was a lot of stress and strain. But maybe, you know, he probably wasn't the right person anyway. So, you know,
I know it's a very challenging time when it comes to relationships, and we know that divorce rates goes through the roof during like menopause, and so there's definitely a connection there. But I think if we knew some of this stuff going in, whether we would feel so challenged in other areas of our life. Because I know for me personally, and I don't know about you, Meg, that when I actually realized I was going through perimenopause and all of those wretched symptoms that had crushed me, they still were there, but I felt like I could at least deal with them, and that I at least had like some like focus now, that I could sort of like say, oh, well, it's because of this, and now I'm going to, you know, look for a way to feel better, because there's so much unnecessary suffering.
There is definitely. And I think what you say, I think working out, I think because, you know, when you're just so exhausted, you have to push yourself, because it's not an easy thing to do if you haven't done it before. So, you know, you've always done fitness, and I have. So muscle memory and getting it back, you know, for me to get back probably usually takes me probably 10 to 12 days. And then I'm back into the routine. But I do know that, you know, for some women, it will take a lot longer. But I want to say persevere, because when you start getting the feelings and the changing and the feeling good, like I always say about that couch to 5K, because it's easy.
It's a good entry level.
It's a really good entry level, because it's one of those ones that you will not fail, because you will run for 30 seconds and then do another.
It will create curiosity. I think that what happens is you start doing something and it inspires you to try new things, and that's inevitably how most things evolve. So coming back to the book, Meg, what I really liked about the book, and I was a little bit surprised about, is I thought this was going to be essentially your story, how, you know, where because you have a very interesting life, which we haven't even touched on, but like how you then came through the Brit Pop scene, and now you're the menopause guru in the UK, and but it's not that, it's so much more. And what I really liked, and the bit I was surprised about, was you've got this directory of people that you consulted with when you did the book. So this isn't just, this is what worked for me, you should try it. You're like, this is what's worked for me, this is what the expert says, this is what the research says, now try it and see if it works for you. And so I wanted to know why you decided to do it that way.
Well, because, you know, as we know, especially me and you, Amanda, I love the word detox, and I love the word, and I love a juice fast. So we all try different things, and as you know, that I'm quite vegan, but in my book I still say that, you know, it's chicken and whatever else is in the book. I do believe that, you know, you have to give everybody each to their own. If I can teach them on the way that, you know, factory farming isn't good, and antibiotics isn't good, and the stuff that they, you know, feed our animals and stuff, just if you can look at that, or buy organic, then please do. Because in the UK, it's not that much more expensive. I don't know if it is in the US, but it isn't in our Sainsbury's. The organic section is probably a couple of p more. That's it. And I just feel like that, you know, knowledge is power. And if I can put people on and tell them and give them advice, they never have to follow it, but it's just my opinion.
And then it's your opinion, your beliefs, your morals and ethics, all of those. I like that because you're very true to them. Like, I know you're a vegan, and I know you're not a pushy vegan. I know I don't want to upset you. No,
I'm never a pushy
but there's but it's appreciated the way that you know, give the information over. But then, like I said, I do like the collaborations in there, because you've got everyone from registered dietitians to medical doctors and so have you found, I think I found it too, that we're gathering this army of people that are just desperate to talk about it from all walks of life, right? And I don't think there's any wrong person to be an advocate, do you?
No, I don't think. I think so. What I'm starting to do now is, because since 2018 and 2021, it's always me on the IGTVs. Okay, it's always me. So what this year? It won't be me.
Which is exhausting, I may add.
Yeah, it's exhausting, and everyone's heard my story now. You've read it in both books. So now what I'm doing is, it's normal women. We've been doing surveys since the beginning of January, and women are gagging to hear other women's stories. They all know my story now. They all know about my hot flushes. I mean, I didn't get migraines. I didn't get, you know, a collapsed pelvic floor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in real people once or twice a week, because women, and that's what they asked for. We had over like nearly 3,000 women do a survey, and they all want other women's stories. They want to hear other women, because everyone's done mine now. And I'm a bit like, oh, thank God, I have another one again talking about, because they've all heard it. Yeah. So now we're going to have real people on.
I love that.
And we're going to have real people talking about their stories. And, you know, women also, which I really want to home in on, is the perimenopause. Like women that have, my daughter's 21. I want to do more stuff that women who have got children at home still, that have got teenagers, that have even got, like my best friend, she's, you know, 47, and she's perimenopausal, and she has a 2-year-old boy.
I've seen him, and he looks a handful as well.
Yeah, isn't he? Yeah, he's a handful. Yeah. So basically, we're going to do that this year, because I just said, you know, everybody's listened to my story and said, and it has to be boring, because it's boring for me to keep talking about it. But the women are asking for normal women, not celebrities, just other women telling their stories.
So here's the thing though about that. I really like that too. And, you know, when I spoke to, we had Kate Adams and Vicky Allen on their book, Still Hot, is all like, it's not everyday women, you know, there's still some, but there was working women, there was MPs, you know, there was celebrity, there was a bit of a mixture of everything. What I think is really difficult though, and I'd love to see this in your conversations, is women actually being able to feel vulnerable enough and brave enough to do it, because it takes a lot to put yourself out there. And like, I know you and I both are like, we've got to bite the bullet, and we're prepared to just say my vagina's like knackered, or you know, like my sex life shit, or you know, like I've got fat, all of any of those things. But it's really hard for people who don't have a public platform to come out there and say, this is what's happened to me. So I tip my hat to them. That's amazing.
But I think they are willing. I mean, they're signing up left, right, and centre, and I think it's great because twice a week we can have women talking and about their stories, and that's what's needed. Because once again, I can be on a game, but you've heard mine. You know this about me. You know that. You know. So, and also I feel like 7 years in, it's now time for real women to tell their stories, and they're lining up to do so. So we're going to do more real women, and I also want to go, the menopause. I'm wanting to really home in on, we know prevention is what should be the main key here. It's not waiting till you're 55 to you're 57. If you can start taking stuff, even if you've got your periods and you're not having a good week and your estrogen levels are dropped and you've got PMS, you can put a pump of estrogen on your thigh and it will bring your estrogen, and you'll probably feel okay again until your period comes.
I love that. I love the idea of that. And so what I see in a perfect world is that the next generation of girls that come up don't have all of these confusing questions, that the medical community are ready to back us and understand what's going on. But from my perspective as well, I love the idea of doing anything proactive just to promote your health, because it doesn't matter if you're fit and healthy or you're not fit and healthy. You're going to have a unique experience, and you're going to have to try and find the things that work for you. And then in addition to that, which is something I want to ask you about, is we don't talk enough about what happens after menopause, when you're postmenopausal. And it's huge that if you don't have the higher levels of estrogen in your body, we're opening ourselves up to the health conditions that ultimately kill us, right? Cheery conversation, I know, but I'm talking about things like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and in your case, something that you're very big on, like promoting, is preventing osteoporosis, because you've had like experience with this. So can you talk a little bit about this, please?
So for me, my mum was in a hospice, and I had to watch her die over 2 years. She started off with osteoporosis, and the bottom of her spine crumbled, but that was okay. She could sort of manage, but it was like a broken back, but she was okay. But then her heel went on her right leg. So they put a plaster on. Now, I don't know why they put a big, heavy plaster on, because with that, she being and also at an age where she was about 73, I think. So she was at that age where you get sort of a bit like, I can do everything. I can go to the toilet on my own. So she was in a hospice, so she would ring the bell and then they would put her in the wheelchair and wheel her to the toilet, because every time she walked on that heel, it was never going to heal. The heel was never going to heal, and it never did heal. So they took the plaster off, and then they put a boot on, and then they just said, you have to lie in bed because nothing is healing here. So then she passed away, and it took 2 years. And to watch someone, with the silent killer, as they call it. We spend £6 million a day in the UK. That's us, on fractures and hip replacements, £6 million a day. And this can all be prevented. So I then went and did a Dexa scan, and I basically, I've got a 3-meter wall, and I was trying to climb over it to because my dog was in the backyard and I knew the back door was open and I'd left my keys. So I did. And as
so you were breaking into your own house is what you're saying?
In my own house,
all right, okay.
So the back door was open and the dogs were there. So I could see the back door was open for the dogs. And with him, no one's going to get in with him. I mean, God, don't ever try to get in with him. And anyway, so I pulled myself up, and it's so weird because I used to be able to do, I can do pull-ups and I can do press-ups. And I was so used to pulling myself over this fence, which I used to just run up and pull myself up over it. And the body strength had just gone. I mean, I don't know what happened to it, but I mean, I was so used to doing it. It was just like, yeah, I can get over 1, 2, 3. And as I went to pull myself up, where the strength wasn't there, and then I fell backwards. So of course I put this hand down first, and then I broke my wrist. So I was just a bit like, I said, oh God, it really does hurt. I'm sure I've broken it. So then I went to the hospital, and I didn't go to A&E. I went to this place where if you paid £100, to take the pressure off NHS, is a hospital called the Princess Elizabeth opposite Madame Tussauds. So I thought for £100 and get an X-ray in 20 minutes or 8 hours. I mean, I thought, well, yeah, I will pay this because I will get seen quicker. And also, there's people that have to go there. I don't really have to. So I did that. And when I did it, the doctor asked me my age, and I said, oh, I think I'm 47. And I didn't say that I was trying to break in my house. So I told a bit of a porcupine. I said, oh, I tripped over. Now, not knowing, and then he went, what do you mean you tripped over? I said, oh, I just tripped over the curb. So then he went, oh, we need a Dexa scan then, if that's all you did. And then I thought, oh, I can't go and tell him now I fell off a 3-meter wall. I have to go through this. So I had to go and have a Dexa scan, which, thank goodness, it came back and I was in the red, and I was riddled with osteoporosis at the age of 48.
Which is bloody scary. It's really scary, right? And we
really
know
scary.
one in 2 women are at risk of this, right? After menopause, it's pretty scary. Yeah. But you're still perimenopausal at this stage, right?
So, well, this is where we don't really know, because it was 48, 49. I'd had the Marina coiling. I'd had the Marina coiling for 5 years, taken it out at 45 and put another one in at 45. So I was one of these girls that never had periods with the Marina coil. Right. So I didn't know. I mean, many of my friends have Marina coil, they still have periods. I didn't. I was one of these people, maybe a bit of spotting, maybe nothing. So I really didn't know if I was having a period or not. And
so you get this Dexa scan. And you literally shit your pants, right? Because you're like, I've witnessed my own mother die in a horrible way, and now I'm at risk.
And now I've got it. So I go, and the doctor gives me all these pills and this and that. So then I go back and I ring Ornello, my doctor on MegsMenopause, and her mum has it. And then I start reading out all the medicine, one that I have to take every Sunday. I have to sit upright. I have to take this. I can't drink anything before. I can't drink anything after. I have to take all this calcium. I have to take these tablets a day. She's reading them through. She goes, do you want the real truth, Meg? And I'm like, yeah, give it to me. So she gives it all to me. And it is awful. It is going to basically make my bones very hard, but brittle anyway. It's just going to make them hard.
With these bisphosphonates?
I think they were, yeah. They're the ones that they normally give you on the NHS or on the doctors, and they're not good.
No, they're not. Biophosphonates, you can take them for 5 years, and if you take them for longer than that, then you're at risk of having a femoral fracture, and they're deadly.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, they're very, and so it's a high risk medication to take. But we know, Meg, and I hope you're going to tell us about the things we can do to prevent this being like something that like kills us.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, this is just like, never thought about it, but then I started taking different supplements. I'll grab the supplements that I do take because It's got different mushrooms in. It's lots of green leafy vegetables, everyone. Cabbage, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, all of those full of magnesium, lots of those sort of vegetables. Instead of, do not be taking all these, what the National Health are giving me, huge calcium tablets every day, because they will fur up your arteries as well if you're just taking all of these. So it's about your diet, really looking at your diet, and just lots and lots of green leafy vegetables. They're full of magnesium, full of everything that our body needs.
And also, like, when you and talking about diet, we know that like calcium is only one part of the puzzle, but calcium is really easy to get from food, but to help absorb it better, vitamin D. So there's just two simple things women can do. Eat lots of calcium rich foods. I know you don't eat the dairy, but it's still in vegetables, like you said, as well. And vitamin D, if you don't live in Texas like me, where it's sunny all day, like, it's okay to supplement with one of those. And then let's talk about strength training, because you've now made this something that I love the fact you record this on your Instagram, your stories with Richie Swan. Making people actually get up and do strength training.
So basically, I did a Dexa Scan on 2019, and 2018, and then 2019 I went to Dr. Louise Newson's Wellness Centre with Professor Reed. I think he's just given. He's from the Royal Osteoporosis Society. And they did a Dexa Scan live, so I was going to have no idea what it was going to say, and I did my 6 pumps of estrogen, and my testosterone, my 5 days a week weight-bearing exercises, and looking after my diet, and then taking some supplements, which I had to take vitamin D, etc., because of hair, and a really good bone supplement that I did find. And then when I went and I did the Dexa Scan, I could not believe that from someone that was in the red, I was on the border of green and yellow, which, without taking any Western GP medication. And
I love this story, because you're basically saying it's possible to reverse osteoporosis, and we know that. I've spoke to experts on this as well, and I just want to touch on what you said, Meg, about the estrogen. Not all of us take it, but for those who do, what we do know is that the tensile strength of the bone, which is the inside of the bone, is estrogen is one of the main contributors to building up the strength of that. So 1, estrogen helps. 2, calcium rich foods with your magnesium and your vitamin D. Like 3, strength training, of course, which we love. And the reason strength training and some jumping exercises work is because the bone and the muscle separate slightly during that process, and it actually helps create bone growth. And so all of those things are just things we can all do. And there's somebody, Georgia has just put something in the chat there, that she's had terrible trouble trying to get doctors to listen to her, to monitor all her blood work and her vitamin D levels. And it's shocking, because we know that this is a massive problem for women in menopause. So I'm super glad that you're talking about it.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, we know 1 out of 2 women. Look at all of us women on here. So you can imagine that there is a big percentage that will, and as I say, it's the silent killer, because you don't know that you've got it until you might slip over on the ice or trip up, or or do something, and then you will know, because then you might have a fracture, and then you might think, oh, I better go and have a bone scan, and have a Dexa scan. But I would say, so my thing is, what I'm trying to get done in this country is, we, in the UK, at the age of 40 and at the age of 45, you receive a letter from the NHS telling women to check their cholesterol at the age of 40 and 45. Now, within that letter or that email, that goes out the same way as your mammogram goes out and your smear goes out. I'm now wanting to get it passed in Parliament that we explain at 40 when the cholesterol goes out that perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause is just all in that letter as well.
Brilliant.
Also a Dexa scan at the age of 45. I think that every woman, it's not like an MRI. It's, you know, you can have all your clothes on, just not an underwire bra. You don't have to take any of your clothes off. You just lie there. It takes probably 25 minutes. And it's not an expensive one either.
So
it's probably about £60 privately. Right. So they should be testing women, because I'm trying to say, look, you're spending £6 million a day because you're not doing the prevention. That's why it's costing the NHS all this money. If you were sending out these letters and educating women from the age of 40, they wouldn't be having to be with having, like, you know, having osteoporosis.
And it's funny because it's one of those, like, you call it the silent killer, but in our minds, it's also an old person's ailment. It's not something that a 40-year-old woman would think is important. And we're going to open the floor up to questions now. And actually, one of the first questions, and so ladies, if you want to ask anything in the chat, do so. But Sue has asked, can you tell about the supplements that you recommend? I think there might be even your own supplements.
No, let me just get
these off. So, and while Meg is going along there, please feel free to, like I said, pop questions in the chat and I'll relay them to her. And in the US, I know that we're eligible for Dexa scans at the age of 50, and it's covered on the insurance, but I don't know if it's exclusively covered on the insurance, because I still don't understand the US health system. And I think that's what Kelly's saying. We have to wait till we're 50.
Right. So, okay. So basically, right. So I do this MenoBlend as Amanda was saying. But I am having a new formula done, because there's some things in here that I'm wanting to change. So it's going to take about 10 weeks because there's some things in here I wanted to change. But this has lots of superfoods. So we've got wheatgrass, MSM, maca, hyaluronic, green tea, glutamine, chlorella, acai, iron, magnesium, and then all your B's, D's, and everything. So that comes in.
It's like is it like a multivitamin almost?
It's got 23 superfoods and vitamins. And I did it because if I went into Whole Foods, I could walk out spending $200-300. Yeah. This is £1 a day, and that's the reason why I made it, because everyone would talk and I would just feel very embarrassed when I would say, well, I'm spending this and this, and what I would spend was, you know, I felt quite vulgar at the time when people would ask me. So I was a bit like, well, God.
You wanted to put yourself in their shoes and say, how can I help them?
The thing that I would really take this. When I made it that it had everything in it. So 23 vitamins, and it's going to be on QVC from next week.
Does that mean, if it's QVC, does that mean it's available in the US, Meg?
No, but we do ship from the UK.
Okay, there you go then, Georgia.
We do ship, but it is 23 vitamins and superfoods, but no one's really done that before. But when it comes to, because I'm going to go a lot more down into, because as you know, Amanda, starting businesses are hard, and I would love to have my own vitamin range. I take this is my favorite. I think you have that a lot in the US. It is Source of Life Garden Bone Support. Okay. It's got D, K2, C, and it's all the different mushrooms. And I'm a big believer in all these mushrooms.
So are those the adaptogens like ashwagandha?
Yeah.
Like okay.
Maybe before you want to have a look at it, Amanda, because I know how you are about. So maybe look at this when you
She's saying I'm particular because I'm a right old.
Yes, you are. So go on, and if you do think it, give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up.
Okay. Good stuff.
Because I use that as a bone support, and that's what I did from day one. So it must have helped me.
Something helped you, Meg, and people want to know what it is.
Yeah. So it was these two things. this is what I took, and then I did take extra B and zinc every day.
They're always great additions to the diet.
C, and I take a liposomol, which is a way that it goes into your body better than normal. The way that it basically goes into your digestive system, it's not digested through all your enzymes and you lose most of it. Liposomol, it goes in and it gets absorbed straight into the gut lining.
Okay. One of the next questions is, so you've got your supplements there, and and what exercises would you do for osteoporosis? Well, I talk about that in my book. So I have, in my book, I have a 12-week program that's all strength training. And we know that the research has showed us that strength training is the best stimulus for bone health that you can do post-menopause, also including some type of a plyometric element. And plyometric means just jump, a little bit of a jump. But you don't want to be doing like jumping all the way through your workouts. You're really not going to promote the stimulus for bone health, but it's like a little bit of everything. And so that's one option. I know Meg has an option that she uses in the UK, that you do that. Was it the Richie Swan?
Yeah, 10 o'clock every day. Or if I can't get him at 10, then I do catch up on IGTV. It's called Sort Your Fit Out. I've got to say this week has not been very good because every morning at 10 o'clock, there's been someone in the house or, and the whole place I've turned into like a forest here for her birthday. So I keep getting messages going, where are you? Where are you? And it's like Monday. So yeah, this is the first time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I've not worked out for 5 days and I can feel it.
But good, right? So what you're saying is basically you're human and that you're like the rest of us and that you don't always have the motivation to do stuff. Maybe you're too busy or you don't feel like it. So give me a tip or give us a tip of how you've told us that you can have like a 10 or 12 day period that takes you to feel like, all right, I'm back in a routine. How do you get back in a routine when life throws these curveballs and you just don't know how to get started again?
You know what I always do? I just think, you know what, I'm going to go into this class, really don't want to do it. I'll just do the best to my ability. So then if it means I'm only going to do 4 press-ups, then I sort of pretend I'm allowing myself to do that. But then by the time I ended up the class, I have finished the class. But I go in there just going, look, I've turned up, that's the best. He starts doing the exercises and then he's going, we're going to do, 40 seconds of burpees. And I'm like, well, if I do 4, I've done 4. It's better than nothing. But by the end of the class, I'm doing it all. But I go in there just not saying, right, you've got to do this. And if you don't do it, you failed. I just go, well, if I do 4 and I have a little dance and then maybe I will do 3 sit-ups, I'm still there. I've shown up and I'm present and I'm going to do the best of my ability. Well, and it might only be 4 press-ups. It might only be 2 sit-ups, but I'm there and I'm joining in. But at the end of it, I'm always like, yeah, come on. So I just go in with that attitude. Just
perfect.
Even if you just turn up and you have there, and you might just be with them and laughing while he's doing it, and then you're doing a little bit of it. And then the next day, because if you go in and you do that thing where, Monday morning, I'm going to be there, I'm going to work out on a Monday morning. I wake up in the morning, I have the fear like I'm about to do my A-levels again. I wake up and go, oh God, I've got to work out. Where does anyone get those endorphins, or where does Amanda get that feeling? Because I haven't got that bloody feeling this morning. It's great. It's raining. The dog wants to go out. I just want to snuggle back down in bed. It's not even daylight. And then I just do that. And then at 10 o'clock, I just go, I really don't want to work out. But I put it on and I just sort of wiggle around a bit. And then I don't give myself a hard time.
I love it. And I think that that's something that I've learned to give myself some grace too. And I say that to everyone else, the hardest work is the showing up, because it's like the mental games you have with yourself.
Yes.
Like you said, I'm like that when I go for a run. I get myself all in knots. I run to the toilet like 5 times. Yeah. I do all this procrastinating stuff. And then at the end of it, I'm like, I'm a rock star. Like, and usually that's the ultimate feeling at the end of these things, right? You end up feeling like amazing.
You feel great. But I'm the same with the running. I mean, I just get out the door and then I'm like, oh, what am I doing? And then I'm like, I don't even like that song. Why did I put that song on? I'm looking for every excuse. And then the phone goes and I'm like, oh, and it's got in my phone, and I'm like looking at the Apple Watch and I'm like, should I take this? Should I take this? No, don't take it. Don't take it. Don't take it. Just don't. You know, that sort of thing. Because if I took the phone call, I'd sit on the curb and I'd be talking for another 20 minutes. You know, I have to have a little bit of discipline.
So it does. I mean, that's the thing that the entry point, like, for the mind games is you have to feel uncomfortable for the magic to happen, but you have to also, but there's an element of like, what do I enjoy? What can I be successful at as well? You've got to find the magic.
You've got to find also, that's different. Yeah. Like, I am not a big runner. Okay. And I'm not running. And, you know, and I look at you and I look at other people that I know, and they're coming back and they're 5K and they're just going, yes. And that's not me. Okay. I'm much better with big, heavy weights, like, you know, pushing myself with a weight that, you know, which is ridiculous 3 times. That's what I get off on.
Me too.
You know, someone holding a weight.
Did people know that you were a trainer? You're a certified personal trainer in your past life, right?
In my past life,
you've done it all.
Yeah. It's like, you know, But even then it was quite weird, because I only sort of did it because I was like, I just thought, oh, what job can I do? What job can I do? I've got to find a job that's going to be quite easy. Yeah, I could just be a personal trainer, which wasn't that easy at all. And you know what? The truth of it is, I didn't really pass, and I did end up, Amanda, the whole truth is I did end up giving out towels and locker keys on the reception.
It's okay to stay humble now.
It's all right. So we didn't really pass, but we were there. We did try.
So I'm going to finish with one more question, and then we're going to do a giveaway. And Meg's got a generous giveaway. But the last question is, can you give us some hope, please? Right. So you're menopausal now. You're through the worst of the sticky part of perimenopause, and you're menopausal now. What's been one of like the gifts or the positive aspects of you now being where you are? Is there any?
Yeah. I mean, from what I was like, from the woman that I was, and the scariness of it, and not knowing, and thinking that this was just life, and as a woman, and it was stress, or it was just, this is what life had dealt you. And I didn't know what perimenopause was, or menopause. I just thought this was just what happens. So when I started to find out that this doesn't have to happen, because there is things that you can take. Look, if you don't want to do HRT or synthetic, there is homeopathic ways. There is lots of different ways that you can take on the menopause. It's not just because I do body identicals. You know, in my book, I've got homeopathic. I've got, you know, there's all sorts of different ways of doing it, you know, and they all work to well, all the women who do them all come back and say, thank you, it's working for me. So don't just think it's a life. And now I'm through the other side, and I still have days where I don't feel that good. I just think once your ovaries decide to stop making estrogen and progesterone and everything, you know, it's like anything. You're never going to feel as brilliant as you can. So you have to, number one, you know, you have to work out, you have to look after your body. You have one body for one life. Don't wait until you're 57 to start to doing it. Start tomorrow, ladies. Start making a difference tomorrow. You have one body for one life. If you're making this body feel fit and going to give it the best possibly the best foods that you can feed it, the best, lots of water, just look after it, not overboard. You don't have to be an Olympic, trainer, just a little bit, walk your 10,000 steps, drink, 2 liters of water instead of drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola. All these little things, you will start to feel so much better, and your body will love it for what
will totally thank you for it. And somebody asked something earlier on that was like, I feel like it's too late, and I'm like, it's never too late. Like even the research shows is like women who start like taking care of their health, like come to an optimum weight, that move regularly, that do strength training, can actually change all of the health markers in the body. So don't think it's too late. So I'm going to finish with a giveaway, and Meg's given 4 books away, right? So that's awesome. So UK and US people can take part too. I'm going to give away 2 books, so that's 6 books, lots of fingers here. The first 4 people will win a copy of Meg's book, and the next 2 people will win a copy of mine. This is what we're going to do, right? So ladies, if you've won a book before, you're out. You're not allowed to take part, because I only want fresh blood, basically. And if I shout out your name, I want the best, easiest way for me now is for you to pop your email address, please, in the comments, and then I will email you after for your address, your home address. So the question I'm going to ask to win a copy of Meg's book and then my own is, Meg's called her book, the one here, The New Hot, Cruising Through Menopause with Attitude and Style. I want you to tell me what your new attitude is going to be for menopause. Oh, so Sue's put her email in already. Oh, Julie. Okay. Oh, I love this.
I can be sexy and strong. Weights. Oh, they're all good.
So here we go. Melody. Melody did it to me directly, but Melody, you've won a copy. Julie, Batty, you've won a copy. Sue, on your iPhone, has won a copy. Elise, you have, and Kirsten too. There you go. There's our 6. Well done, everyone. That's absolutely awesome.
Brilliant.
I think that was 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Georgia. Georgia, there you go. You've won a copy of my book and you want to do weights. So Georgia, give me your email address too. Listen, Meg, you're awesome. I love everything about you. I just think one of the main things that you offer people is a realness. I think, and it also might be because we've seen you from a distance, and especially the Brits here, for years.
Yeah.
And then you've come into our lives in this real way, and you've been so vulnerable and open, and it's so refreshing. It's actually it's giving women hope that, it happens to everyone.
I didn't want anyone to suffer, and it's so lovely of you to say those words. It was just, I just couldn't believe that someone that I thought I was very worldly and sort of, and I was very privileged and had great gynecologists and great doctors around me, and I could just nip to Harley Street. Now, 80% of the UK population cannot nip to Harley Street, and I was still nipping to Harley Street and still not getting answers. So then I just started to think, right, I'm not going down any of the private route. I'm doing everything on the NHS. That's why I did it all on the NHS.
And that's a great thing, because we want to support them, because they're like
of course.
Angels,
well,
I
just wanted other women who are, that are working in Tesco's and people like that. They can't afford that. That is their housekeeping money.
Well, actually, I think that's such a great point, because there's a slew of celebrities on Instagram, and I just don't find them relatable, and they're doing stuff that doesn't make sense, and it's expensive, and
it's expensive,
and that's what you've done. You've brought it down.
I look at Elle Macpherson and I love her, but I can't afford to buy Extelia or whatever her range is. Yeah. I love her. She's a friend of mine, but it's £60 for this pot of green powder. Now, who can afford that?
Yeah. I mean, just eat your vegetables. Seriously.
just cook up a whole pot of vegetables. There's nothing nicer either, is there? I mean,
what's next for you? Do you think, Meg, a cookbook? Meg's cookbook?
Well, yeah, I'm the worst cook in the world, so I'm terrible. I always never get anything right, but I try.
Sue's saying you're such a brilliant advocate for women's health, and she hopes that you achieve she's sure you will achieve your letter.
Thank you so much.
And you know, if you need help with that and you need support, you've got an army of women behind you. So thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. I might be in touch with you actually, because I need to have a chat about something with you, but I will give you a call in the next few days.
Yeah, no problem. And you know, ladies, go and follow Meg on MegsMenopause, and Meg's got her own official Instagram account too. It's just really real and fun. And thanks for taking the time to do this. Good luck with your book over here in the US. And everybody else, thank you for joining me again this week. And Sam Baker is coming on next week. And I know Meg knows,
you're in for a treat. She's my favourite. She's amazing.
It's a different take on menopause as well. She's a published journalist and author, and she's had a ton of books. This is her first non-fiction, I believe. It's called The Shift: How I Lost and Found Myself After 40 and How You Can Too. So that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, perfect.
So, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Meg. Thanks. Take
care. Thank you for
everyone.
having me, everyone. Ladies, good luck on your journey. You've got me and Amanda. We won't let you down.
We won't. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Love you.